are we all? Right, so something a little bit different then from me. Make something beautiful. This is a kit. This is a kit that can be purchased from Deborah Beads over on deborahbeads.co.uk. Yeah, deborahbeads.co.uk. I got it right. So this is a kit. And this is a kit that I wanted to show you because if you're new to jewellery making and you needed a project to get you into it, then a kit is what you need. The only additional items that you will need are the jewellery pliers. And if you're serious about getting into beading and jewellery making, then beading pliers, a set of beading pliers are essential. So yes, you need a set of jewellery pliers. You will also need some cutters. I've got flush cutters, but in sets that you can buy come with cutters in them as well. I just like to be able to get in nice and close with my flush cutters. But when you're beginning to get into the hobby, you might not enjoy the hobby. I'm not saying that you won't. Most of us do, and we all get addicted. And then it's something that you can purchase at a later date. But if you head over onto Deborah Beads, you'll be able to get yourself everything that you need to get yourself started. So let's have a little look at this kit then. In the kit we'll be able to make some earrings, a bracelet and a necklace, everything to match. So let's just have a little look at what's inside our kit, and then we can get making, can't we? So in one little pouch then we have a connector bead, a bail, and that will sit on our chain. We have some gorgeous bald head pins. Bald head pins are my absolute favourite to use. And we have a good amount of those, enough to make our components to make our lovely jewellery set. And we have this gorgeous little pendant, and it's got a ring, a jump ring that's been attached to the back of the pendant, and this will be where we will be attaching our danglies. Also in our kit we have everything that we need to make our danglies and jump rings to attach our jewellery pieces together. So let's have a look. Okay, so we have now these are connectors. In a normal jump ring, a jump ring has a split in them so that we can open and close them to attach our pieces to. And these ones are soldered closed jump rings, so there's no split in them. Okay, and they have a multitude of uses in our jewellery making, but you don't need to worry because everything that you need to make this set is in your kit. Okay, then we also have our charms. Now, as you know, normally on anything that I make I will show you what we're making, but because this is a kit I haven't got one pre-made because it's a kit. If I pre-made it beforehand, then you wouldn't see the process, would you? So there's 2 snowflakes charms, one to go on our necklace and one to go on our bracelet. A lovely pair of ear wires, all in silver tone. 2 lobster clasps, one for our necklace and one for our bracelet, and a lovely amount of chain. Okay, and I'll show you how to cut it. So this is a fantastic project, even for sometimes you don't know what to make for somebody as a gift. They aren't into bead woven gifts or anything like that, and they just like pretty jewellery. Well, this will make an ideal Christmas present, won't it, with the snowflakes. Okay, so we have some crystal beads and some bicone beads and some little flower charms or flower or snowflakes. Some people call them snowflakes, some people call them little flowers, little daisies, and these are little spacer beads. Okay, so all the components that we need to make our lovely kit. So I'll be right back in a moment. Here we go then, on to making the jewellery. So I went ahead and made one of the earrings to give you a little bit of a visual of what we're going to do. So the danglies, we've got one larger dangle in the centre using one of the large round crystals, snowflake or daisy, whichever way you want to call them. One of the small little blue bicones, and we're going to turn a loop and do a bit of wire wrapping. When I say wire wrapping, we're going to wrap we're going to do some wrapping. Okay, and then we're going to do some little wrapping on this little blue bead, and again on the larger bicone. Okay, and we're going to attach them to the ring and attach them to the ear wire. Now it's very easy, stick with it. It does take some practice when you're doing some wrapping on beads, but we will get there. So I'm going to start off then by showing you the bigger bead, the bigger dangle. So onto our balled head pin then, we're going to add on the larger round bead, the snowflake and the small bicone. Okay, simple so far. Taking our round nose pliers then, we're going to hold the wire about 3 or 4 mil down our pliers. Okay, holding our pliers straight, we're going to push the wire back, turn our pliers like that, bring the wire up to the top so it's flat, and then we're just going to simply take the wire over and down. We're going to again rotate our pliers facing up, and we're going to take this wire and push it behind the pliers. Now you do need to keep a little soft grip on your pliers as you're doing it, otherwise you'll just drop. So this is what we have at the moment. Okay, I'm just going to now, I've just released it, I'm just going to turn my hand around just to make it more comfortable. Now you can either wrap a loop like this, or you can hold your loop between your pliers like that, just nice and softly. Taking your, where are they? Hiding, there they are. Taking your flat nose pliers, you're going to hold the end of your wire, and we're going to do some laps and fill up this little gap between the loop that we've just made and the bead. Okay, we're just going to wrap some loops by holding the wire and taking the wire round. don't need to do it all in one go. Release, hold on to the wire again, wrap around, release, holding the wire, wrap around. Now it does take some practice, holding the wire and wrap around, and that'll do. Okay, getting your snips, and we want to be cutting this wire as close to that little row of wraps as we can. So taking our clip snippers, and the wire is gone. Okay. If your loop is a little off centre like mine is, put your pliers back in, your round nose pliers back in, and just take them to the side and just give it a little twist. And there you will have a lovely wrapped gorgeousness. Look at that for a lovely little dangle. So that's one made. Now we will need a little jump ring to attach that to our connector, but we'll come back to that in a second. Now this is where it gets a little bit trickier, but stick with it, okay? Practice makes perfect. So taking a bald head pin, taking one of our beads, I've got the crystal one here, the silver one, the silver bicone, okay, letting it drop. Again, taking our pliers. Now we're going to do a few more wrap loops on this one, so I'm going to leave a few mil at the top. Again, taking our pliers just like we did before, and we're going to start our loop at the top. So taking the wire behind us, moving those pliers to the top, taking the wire up, I've lost my grip, pushing the wire towards us, taking it all the way down, moving our pliers up and taking the wire to the back. And that gives us this lovely little loop. Now we don't want to do any more wrapping at the moment. What we're going to do is just open that loop just a little bit, and we're going to wrap once we've got our attachment on. So I'm just putting my closed jump ring on, so it's a closed one, and it sits in there nicely. Taking my pliers, holding it in place and just closing that loop. Okay, holding the loop with my pliers. Now it can be a little tricky. Push the wire back. Practice makes perfect. You may as well, if you purchase this kit, purchase yourself some extra head pins to practice on. Taking the end of the wire, and we're just going to keep on wrapping. Now we want these loops to be as close to each other as possible as we can. We're not going to be doing it all in one fell swoop. We're going to be taking our time, because this is supposed to be enjoyable and not a rush. Wrapping those loops. Can you see how they're wrapping round and round? Oh, sorry. I'm looking at it myself. Round and round. Okay. And that will do. Okay. So I've wrapped a good 3 times. taking our cutters, and again we need to try and get as close to the loops as possible. Cut. If you've got a little tiny bit hanging, sticking out, then you can take your flat nose pliers and just give it a little squeeze, and then just centre up our loop at the top. And there we have one dangle attached to our connector. Don't worry, I'm going to do it again now with the other bead. This is really good practice if you're new to doing these wrap loops. Okay, so exactly the same again. Just a couple of mil up from our bead, a couple of mil in from the end, just a few mil, 2 or 3 mil. Again, holding our pliers flat, push the wire behind us, away from us. Okay. Turn our pliers up, take the wire to the top and straight towards us. Moving my pliers round, I'm going to take the wire down and away to the back. Okay. We don't want the loop to be completely closed because we're going to attach it to our connector. Thread it onto our connector, close that wire down, push the wire behind us, away from us, taking your flat nose pliers, and we're just going to do some wrap loops. Okay, so bringing the pliers towards us, letting go, taking the pliers away from us, letting go, bringing the pliers towards us, taking the pliers away from us, bringing the pliers towards us, taking the pliers away from us. Okay, so we have a nice wrap loop. Taking our cutters, getting in as close as we can. Again, if there's any bits sticking out, give them a squeeze with your flat nose. Making sure our loop's nice and straight. It is this one. I must be getting better at me wrap loops. So then now we need to attach our centre dangle using a jump ring. So guys, if you're new to jump rings, it's got a split in the centre. Okay. So we always open jump rings from north to south, never from east to west. So 2 pairs of pliers, holding either side of the split in the jump ring, and pull one towards you and one away from you. Popping on our dangle onto the jump ring and putting that jump ring in between the other 2 that were attached, closing our jump ring. Now on these, if you take it a little way past where you've turned, it will spring back. Okay, or it should do. Doesn't always work, 100%, but 99 times out of 100 it will work. And you'll also, as well, when you're closing your jump ring, you can feel the ends touching each other. Okay, so we have our dangle made. Now before you attach it to the earring, make sure that you have a dangly on either side, a smaller dangler on either side of your larger one. Onto your ear wire, open the loop, pop your connector on, close the loop nice and tight. I always like to give them both a squeeze, so where they meet, I like to give that squeeze. And that just ensures that everything's flat. Take a breath. You've just made yourself an earring. Now all you need to do now is make the other one, and you've got a pair. Aren't they absolutely gorgeous? Isn't they absolutely beautiful? So pretty, and something so simple. Yes, okay, it's a new technique for you maybe, or it's something that you're not brilliant at and you need to get a bit of practice in. Get some practice in and wrapping your loops. So there we have our first piece in our set. Next, onto the necklace. Give yourselves a pat on the back, guys, for doing that. Well done, and breathe, relax. I end up holding myself when I haven't been doing loops for a while. I hold myself all tense and I forget to breathe. So breathe. Do some yoga in between. Right, see you in a second, guys. Onto the pendant then, onto the necklace part. Right, again, a bald head pin. What we'll do first is we'll actually do the smaller ones because we need to attach these onto our connector. So the same principle, on it goes, down to the bottom. Taking our round nose pliers. By the time you've done this, you'll be able to do wrap loops no problem. Okay, leaving a few mil just at the bottom between our round nose pliers and our bead, just so we can fit a nice few loops in, wraps in. Holding straight up, push away from us, turn those pliers around to the top, up and over, taking our pliers up, just replacing them, pushing our wire down and behind us. Now because again we're putting on to our connector, I might have left a big enough loop, let's see. Yep. Just holding the top of our loop, pushing the wire back away from us, taking our flat nose pliers, and again we're just going to bring them down towards us, over the top and away from us, down towards us, and away from us. down towards us, over the top and away from us. Okay, it's not a race. Remembering to breathe and giving the wire a snip. And we have our first dangle on. Okay, putting that one down then. We're going to do exactly the same. Just a few mil, couple of mil, few mil. Holding the pliers up straight. Push away. Release. Push up to the top, towards us, and away, behind us, opening that up a little bit, onto our ring, our main ring, closing the loop a little bit, holding the pliers onto the top of our loop, pushing the wire away from us at the behind, away from us, grabbing the end of our wire, pulling it around and towards us, over the top and away, down and towards us, over the top and away, towards us, over the top and away, down towards us, over the top and away. Okay, again, snipping the excess wire off as close to those wrap loops as you can, so we can get it nice and neat. If there's any that does stick out, you can just give them a little press with our flat nose. And we have 2 dangles on. Wow! Ooh. Yay! Okay. On to the next one then. This time we're going to do a closed loop at the top. We're not going to leave it open. Again, leaving a few mil. Holding it up, behind, turning our pliers up to the top, pushing our wire up to the top and towards us. Moving our pliers up, pushing it down and past us and behind and away. So we have this loop. Holding the loop, again guys, underneath into, oh, and I go and break it. Must have been a soft one or a hard one. Never mind, just cut it off. or we could save wasting it. Let's see. No, it's too far gone. Never mind. Cut it off. And we'll do that again. Get another bald head pin. It does happen. It's one of those things. With my videos, you see the good, the bad and the ugly. It happens. Right, we'll just do it again. Just a couple of mil. Push away from us. Turn our pliers to the top. Over the top. Towards us. Altering our pliers. And away from us. So we have that. Holding, taking the end of our pliers, wrapping a loop towards us, away from us, towards us, away from us. Well, almost away from us. Sometimes there's gets weak spots in the wire. It happens. Towards us and away from us. Okay, taking the excess wire, cutting it off as close to the wraps as we possibly can. If there's any sticking out, as always, give it a bit of a squeeze with your pliers, making sure our loop's nice. And we're going to attach this with a jump ring. Remember, jump rings always open north to south, not east to west. So opening our jump ring, putting it onto our little dangle we've made, and onto our ring, our component ring, our closed ring. And close. That's what we have so far. On to the last one then of our dangles. Putting our drop on. Do you see what I mean about the bald head pins? They just put a beautiful finish onto any bead. Just adds that little bit more interest as opposed to the flat. I love them. Then with our little snowflake or daisy, on with our little blue little, I'm sure I'm a 3mm, maybe 3 or 4mm bicone bead, and we're going to do it again. We're going to wrap another loop. So just enough so we can wrap a loop, do some wraps, holding nice and tight, push away from us, turning our pliers up to the top, pushing the wire up flat and towards us, taking our pliers out, repositioning, down to the bottom and past to the back. We have this. Just straighten that loop out a bit. Taking our flat nose, snipe nose, flat nose, and bringing, wow, these things happen, and I break it again. Got a wheat spots at the top where they're bending, where it's going round, it's making the wire weak. No worries, that's what it's all about. Taking that off, then we'll do another one. These things happen. Okie dokie, here we go again. Away, to the top and round, behind, holding, making sure we put that at sort of a 90 degrees. And wrap behind, towards, over the top and away. Cutting our excess wire off. If you need to squeeze in, don't be afraid, squeeze in. Attaching onto a jump ring then. North to south. Onto our new dangle. Onto the component, our closed ring, closing our jump ring, and we have this. Move my little bits out of the way. Right, to finish off then we're going to bring in this gorgeous pendant. This pendant's beautiful, and on the back we have a jump ring that's been soldered onto the pendant, and it comes open like this. All we're going to do is take one of our snowflakes, attach it onto the back, and we're going to close this jump ring. Okay, so as always it's been opened north to south, and we're going to close it. And that's what you shall have. All that's left to do now is to add a jump ring and then attach it onto our component, and that'll be our pendant bit done. Okay. So opening again, north to south, onto our gorgeous little silver dangly pendant, onto the component, and closing our jump ring nice and secure. And there we have our pendant all done. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? Absolutely gorgeous. And all we'll need to do now is attach that with another jump ring onto our bail, and then the chain will run through the centre of the bail. Okay. Opening the jump ring, north to south, making sure before you attach this that you've got your bits where you want them to be. Now I've got my larger pendant in the centre, and then my other bits going off to the sides. Okay, onto the component, onto the bail, and close. And there you have your necklace pendant bit made. All we'll need to do in a moment is measure our chain, but I wanted to do the bracelet bit first. Okay, so that's the pendant and the earrings are done. I'm just going to get myself set up for the bracelet. Onto the bracelet then, guys. So the components we have left for this then is one of the snowflakes, one of the silver bicones, one of the larger round crystals, and one of the little, these are absolutely gorgeous, stunning colour, little light blue, sky blue bicones. Okay, so here we go again then. We're going to be doing some wrapped loops yet again. So we'll start off with a little one. Practice, practice, practice. Like I say, if you get this kit, I suggest you buy some head pins and do some practicing as well, and by the end of it you'll be doing really well. Away from you, turn, up and over and behind. If you can do it all in one movement, then all the better. By the end of it you will be able to. Taking it off, just opening it a little bit onto the ring, closed ring, closing that loop, pushing the wire away from you, and we're just going to do a few wrap loops. Okay, so starting from away, underneath and towards, re-grabbing the wire, over the top and away, grabbing the wire underneath and towards you, grabbing the wire over the top and away, towards, remembering to breathe, and away. Some people can do it all in one go as well, and they enjoy doing it all in one go. Okay. Cutting the excess wire, and we have one dangle on. Yay! On to the next then. It's just repeat, so it's fantastic practice. If you didn't want to, I'm just warming my wire up, I think that's why, because it's so cold up in my bead room when I'm not here and the heating's not on. I think that's what's happening to the wire. It's getting hot and cold, sitting cold. I'm putting it in my hands, and before I'm warming it up I'm wrapping and it's fracturing, and that's what's happening. That's what I'm thinking anyway. So without further ado, let's carry on. You're doing well, you're doing well. Give yourself a pat on the back. Here we go. Away, turn, up to the top, towards you, turn, and away from you. Okay, opening it a little bit if you need to. Onto our ring. Closing the wire, closing the loop. If you can get the main one out of the way. Pushing the wire behind. So away, under, towards you. Over the top and away from you, underneath and towards you. Over the top and away from you, underneath and towards you. Over the top and away, underneath and towards. There you go. You're getting it now, you're getting it, you're getting it. As close as you can. Pinch. If you need to give it a squeeze, then do so. I might need to give that one a little bit of a squeeze further close down. Yeah. Sorted. On to the last one then. And then all your wrap loops are over and done with, and you'd be thinking, thank goodness for that. Okay. Away from you, turn. Up, towards you, turn. Down and away from you. Open your loop if you need to. Making sure that it goes on the other side of your larger crystal. Manipulate your wire behind you. Towards you. Over the top, away, underneath, towards. Over the top, away, underneath, towards. Over the top, away, underneath, towards. Cutting your wire. And there you have 3 dangles on. Okay. All that's left to do now is attach the snowflake onto the other side using a jump ring. Opening our jump ring then, as always, always, you've got it north to south, onto our snowflake, onto our component, our closed jump ring, our large closed jump ring, our connector, whatever you want to call it. And there you have your component made. On to attaching the chain then, guys. On to finishing off then, and the first piece I'm going to finish off is the bracelet. Now, when we're measuring bracelets out, if our wrist is 7 inches and we are making a 7-inch bracelet, then we need to take into account the components that we're using. So we need to remember that the clasp is going to be 1 inch, and the component for the centre is about 1/2 inch. So that's 1.5 inches we need to be taking off our wrist size. So in other words then, if our wrist size, the bracelet that we are making is for a 7-inch wrist, we need to take 1.5 inches off for our components. So in this case then, our chain needs to be 5.5 inches and then cut in half, and I'll explain the reasons why. So out comes Percy, and Percy's going to help me measure. So if I want 5.5 inches, take my chain up to the 0, bring down 5.5 to here. So I need to be cutting off here. Taking my clips in, my snips in, my cutters, whatever you call them. And then I need to cut it in half again, because I want 2 3/4 inches either side of my centerpiece. Okay, so I'll have 2 3/4 inches one side and 2 3/4 inches the other side. Attach my inch clasp, and that will give me the length of my bracelet like magic. Okay, so I want 2 3/4 inches off you now. 2 3/4 is here. And all we need to do now is attach. Bring it all together. This is where the magic happens now. We bring it all together. So, first things first then, I'm going to attach a jump ring to one part of my chain, and then through the center of my component, closing that off. On the other end of that chain, I need to add on a jump ring, opening north to south and onto the end. Get on, you naughty jump ring. There we go. Lay that down. Onto the other part of my chain then, I'm going to add a jump ring, and put the lobster claw on. Closing my jump ring, and then a final jump ring, onto the other end of our chain, and onto the center component, making sure that we have the snowdrop, the charm and the other charm separated by the chain links. Closing our jump ring, and there we have our finished bracelet. Very cute. Very cute. On to the finishing off the necklace then. So all I've done is I've measured off 19 inches because that's how long I wanted my necklace to be with my dangly bit. Thread on my dangly bit, a jump ring and a clasp on one end and a jump ring on the other. Okay, nearly there. Well done everybody, well done. Opening our jump ring then. On it pops, closing our jump rings. Onto the other side. On with the lobster clasp. And closing. And there you have, give yourselves a pat on the back. You have just made yourselves a beautiful set of matching jewellery from a kit from Deborah Beads. Absolutely gorgeous. Christmas. I feel like I should be singing jingle bells and deck the halls with boughs of holly. Absolutely beautiful. Do not be put off if you feel that you aren't ready for making wrap loops, because you can still make these dangles but without the wrap loops and just do a turned loop at the top. And I will show you quickly how to do that. So if we'll pretend that we've put our we'll pretend that we've got our bead here at the bottom and we're just going to make a wrap loop. Okay, so taking our pliers at the top with our wire flat, just little wrist movements, bringing the wire round into a loop, and you have a P. Popping your pliers back into that loop and just do a little twist, and you have made yourself an eye pin. And all you would do then is open the eye pin and attach it to your loop. So I've got a little jump ring here. Pop it onto your jump ring. I've got two attached, not been clipped. I'll try to help you and give myself a nightmare. So there's my jump ring. So onto your component and then closing your loop, and then you can attach like that if you don't want to get into wrap loops. So practice, practice, practice with your wrap loops. All is not lost if you don't want to do wrap loops and you want to learn how to make an eye pin top instead, then go ahead and do that instead of doing your wrap loops. But what an absolutely... Another thing is, if you know somebody who's just getting into jewellery making, what a fabulous gift this would be to go on to Deborah Beads, onto deborahbeads.co.uk. Enjoy. You can give Deborah a ring if you're unsure. I will put the link to this beautiful little kit down in the description. But what an absolute joy, and what a way to get into bead making, jewellery making. What a lovely way to get into it, by giving somebody a gift of this. A little way into the world of beading, the world of jewellery making. What a fantastic set. I absolutely adore it. I love this little pendant, this little silver tone pendant. It's screaming out, isn't it, Christmas with the snowflakes? It is screaming out Christmas. But these earrings, if you don't want to use it for Christmas, once Christmas is over and done with, you can take the pendant off. You can take that pendant off and then add something else. Add another dangle from your bead stash. And again with that, if you don't want the snowflake on, take it off and then put it back on again next Christmas. But there you go. I really sincerely hope that you've enjoyed this little video. I sincerely hope that you will go over to Deborah Beads and order this kit, because it is gorgeous. So all that's left to say then, guys, is make something beautiful. Gorgeous. See you next time. Take care, stay safe and stay well. Oh, and very happy beading.